I get lots of messages from people, especially this time of year. It's coming up on springtime, and they really want to get started with chickens, but they can't take the plunge. They want to do it because it's great for their family, especially if they have kids. It will, it's a hobby that will get them outside, and obviously fresh eggs. But for some reason, they just can't make themselves just go for it, and I think I know why. Hey guys, welcome to Chickenlandia. I am a backyard chicken educator here in the Pacific Northwest, but you can call me the president of Chickenlandia. If you go onto Google and you type in getting started with backyard chickens, you are going to get a lot of different schools of thought and a lot of different philosophies about how to raise chickens. You guys are being loud. There are people that raise chickens solely for eggs, and their chickens really aren't pets. And that's okay. If that's the camp that you're in, that's totally okay. And then there are people that their chickens are solely their pets. They might have them inside their house with diapers on, and it's all good. I'm not trying to hate. I respect both camps, and I feel like I kind of fall somewhere in the middle. My chickens are totally my pets. I love them, but they also serve a really important purpose in my life and in my family's life. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't get confusing, especially when they're starting out. There's so much information out there, and a lot of it is conflicting, and people just don't know what philosophy to adopt. They don't know what is right. So in the interest of keeping it really simple, I'm going to give you two very important questions that you really need to ask in order to get started with chickens right now. These are really important. Before you start doing any other research, you need to ask yourselves these two questions. I cannot tell you how many times I have dealt with families who went out and got themselves a batch of baby chicks, and they were building their coop and they're getting ready to start their backyard chicken adventure, and all of a sudden one of their neighbors complains and they find out that it is not legal for them to have chickens where they live. And all of a sudden now you have to give them up. It's just awful, and I've seen it so many times. So what I would tell anybody, the number one thing you need to ask yourself before you get started is, can I even have chickens where I live? Even if you are in the county, if you're in a subdivision, or if you're in an area that has laws specific to the neighborhood that you're in, it could be possible that you're just getting yourself into a mess. I feel like those laws are stupid. Like, you should literally be able to have chickens anywhere. In fact, I want to see roosters everywhere too. That's where I'm coming from. Fight that fight first if you want to change the laws, and then get the chickens, because if you do it the other way around, you will suffer, your family will suffer, the chickens will suffer, and it's just not worth it, I don't think. The other thing that is super duper important is when you're deciding where you're going to put your chickens. And I know a lot of you live in urban and suburban areas, so you have limited space. You need to think about the drainage in that area. At our old house, I had chickens and it was great. But one of the really difficult things about it was that I didn't realize that the drainage wasn't great where I placed my coop and run. And I dealt with a lot of flooding, and it was awful. And I was just like always fighting it. And there's things that you can do to mitigate some of the problems that come with mud and to deal with the mud. But why deal with that when you can address it before you even place your coop? If your chickens are dealing with mud and water, it's not only is it unsightly, it's not healthy for them, it can stink, which can be a problem for your neighbors, and you just always be fighting it. It is very much worth it for you to observe the area over the seasons, because chickens will create erosion over time. They dig holes, they peck and scratch. They will change the landscape of your yard. So you got to take all that into consideration. The main thing is you just want to make sure that you have, wherever you decide to place your coop and run, that it's the best that you can do with what you have in terms of drainage. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, I said there's things that you can do if you're dealing with mud, but we just make it the best that we can so that it's not too stressful for us. Of course, one thing that really helps when you're wanting to control erosion and you're wanting to control mud is to have the appropriate amount of chickens for your area. And these kind of beginner questions are the ones that I help people work out in my course. It is called Backyard Chickens 101, a chicken course for everyone, because everybody should have chickens. And one of the great things about the course is that it's interactive, so you can go in it. All the information is right there. It's not like scattered all over the internet. And you can also ask me questions, and you can ask the other instructor questions, who is very knowledgeable. I'm just like really proud of it, and I recommend it for people that are getting started or people that have already started with chickens and they just want to like level up their knowledge. You can learn all about it by clicking right here, and guess what? It's 100% friendly. Backyard Chickens, education and entertainment, and I know you're gonna love it.